seen our outfits?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look great. Welcome to Winning Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, my
And
pleasure.
Katrina, this is also an excellent time, and I'm going to, ask you as your coach, right, during this time.
Please.
Notice the patterns in your life. Notice how you're showing up to this period of your life now that you're home and the whole world is in the same place, as you mentioned.
Right.
And notice if there are similarities between how you're showing up today in this environment and how you show up every day when we're not in this situation. And I'm guaranteeing you that you're going to see patterns. So in other words, in your normal life, if you're creative, if you have a growth mindset, if you always look for the lesson, if you always look to grow, you're going to do that now too. And if you'll notice that if you're stuck, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling all these negative emotions, if you can't pivot, notice that usually that happens to you too in your normal life. And then the question is, what are you going to do about it?
Yes.
If you're happy with that, leave it. Don't touch it. But if you're not happy with that, it's time to get in motion and pivot.
For some people, I imagine that that's another thing on the to-do list, right? And it's like, oh my God, I have to do something else now. So when a person feels that way, it could be really overwhelming to even try to move forward and to know where to begin. So can you expound on those steps and why should we really make time for them?
If it's almost like saying, should emotional intelligence be an item on a checklist? It isn't, right? Your self-awareness is not a to-do. Your self-awareness is a way of being. And I know that I also teach my clients and when I speak about the fact that we are so used to doing. We always do, the to-do list. And I think we become more whole and more integrated and more harmonious and peaceful when we combine doing and being.
Mm-hmm.
And being, especially when you're a type A, high strong, achiever, and society rewards us for the doing, not so much for the being. So when you are checking in with yourself, you are being self-aware and you're noticing how you're feeling. You notice if you are getting anxious or impatient and you're snapping at people, your family members, your teammates. You notice if you're being judgmental or critical. You notice if you're not being curious, if you're being stubborn and impatient or whatever that may be. And the minute you notice it, which is step one,
Mm-hmm.
then you have a choice. What do I do about it? Do I reel it in? Do I take a breath? Do I calm myself and center myself and then continue? But that noticing that is really important. That's the checking part, and that's your self-awareness.
I definitely see the value in taking that step back in the moment. I was talking with my sister about this because she texted me, oh my gosh, Katrina, like I just said, I'm sorry 3 times and I wasn't even sorry. Why did I do that? My sister's a doctor in a male-dominated field. I'm in technology, another male-dominated field. We have to be very in tune with how we're coming across to our audience. So rewriting those talk tracks and nipping it in the bud in the moment, right? Like, I'm not sorry. Why do I feel compelled to say that? And just question yourself, take those few seconds, figure out, did I do something wrong? Am I apologetic? If I'm not, then what direction can I go now? If I am, then I'll proceed, just like you said.
People want to be heard and they want to know that you're listening. Mm-hmm. So when you ask someone, I know that we ask the polites, how's it going? Usually when we pass people in the hallway, how's it going? People don't want to really know how it's going. They just want to. That's only like a greeting, right? Like, how's it going? Like, know your audience, right? Who's the audience and what message am I going to share with that audience? Because, I can just say, if it's somebody that I'm close with, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my mom's birthday today. She's turning 75, blah, 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 blah. But if it's someone else, say, how's it going? I'm like, it's okay. It's the first 2 weeks were a little rough, first 3 weeks, but now it's the 4th week. I'm feeling like I'm finally getting my legs. What most of us do is we check in with our inner circle, the people that are immediately, our family members, our loved ones, right? But then, what if we expanded that to people outside of that inner circle?
that I like to do in my regular life apart from quarantine is network and meet new people and constantly go out and be that social butterfly in a
Yes,
lot
you're
of
doing
different mediums.
networking digitally, and I always tell my audiences when I speak, my clients, networking should be part of our job. And I know we're all calibrating to the new normal, as we're calling it, and we're pivoting.
Right.
This is a great way to pivot because we're networking digitally, and people like to connect. We're humans, right? We're gregarious beings. And then the last thing is be intentional, right? Be intentional about those two things, checking in and checking in with others.
Do it with a
And then,
purpose.
yes, have purpose. So be intentional about how you're spending your time. So we have people saying on the one end, oh my God, this is so stressful. I have so much to do. There's so much work to catch up on. It's taking me longer to do it because I don't have the people that normally I would ask questions to answer those questions and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking me longer to get myself in the headspace of I'm working from home and I have a new structure and new boundaries and new schedule. So it takes some people longer than others to adjust to change. We know that. Some of us hate change,
Yep.
and others thrive on change, right? We want a dynamic workplace. So wherever you are in that spectrum, be intentional about how, first of all, what am I doing every morning to put myself in a really good state so that I feel good throughout the day, despite the challenges, despite where I'm feeling today. And by being intentional, we're not letting that be an accident.
Right.
I don't wake up feeling great every day and
Yeah.
then it's not an accident. I wake up, I do my workout, I shower, I get ready, I do my meditation in the morning, in the afternoon. Like I'm very intentional about the activities that I engage in because I want to be productive and I want to be at my best for my clients. I make that happen. And so I'm being intentional about that. I'm being intentional about my day, how I show up, how I communicate, what I believe is going to happen today, the thoughts that I focus on, my words, the words that I'm using when I speak with people, finally my actions. Because it's all, those are my resources.
Right.
And so I am choosing how I'm spending those resources, how much time I'm spending on social media, how much time I'm spending on my business development. And at this point, I'm running a business, so it's not about selling. It's really about reaching out to people and letting them know that you're there for them and sharing a message of hope and encouragement.
Yeah.
So that's the intentional part. So how can people that are listening to this be intentional with their day, wherever they're at? That's all I'm asking them as their coach today for 10 minutes.
Right.
How can you be intentional with your day? I know people love like steps, like give me 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And this step it's a big step, it's a meaningful step, and it's one that isn't just a 1, 2, 3. It's about living your life with purpose. Whatever the case may be, then the activities that follow that will be so much easier to do because they're anchored in your purpose, not on a to-do list. It's not the activity, it's the purpose behind it that's going to motivate you. Like when I graduated from high school, since I was, as you know, I come from a very small village in Dominican Republic, poor, I grew up poor, and my purpose was to become a professional woman. And so when I came to the United States in 1983 and went to high school to learn English, my purpose was to become a professional woman. And so all the work that I had to do of learning English, adjusting to a new culture, getting new friends, applying to college, getting into college, studying computer science, all of that fell under the umbrella of the purpose of becoming a professional woman. And it becomes so much more enjoyable when you know you have a dream, this purpose, and then you work towards that purpose every single day. And when you get there, you're like, right? So right now at 50, I still have dreams. And so that's my purpose. And then every day I wake up and I take proactive action towards that purpose. And it's a whole different way of living. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much for having me. I love what you're doing. Keep your energy up as you always do, and reach out if you need anything.
Will do. And hopefully we can have you back again because I know that.
That would be amazing.
Good.